guys, how are we doing? Back in another video from Nux Taku. And just before I get started on this video, I just want to share that I am absolutely devastated right now because Nux inboxed me on Twitter, he DM'd me asking me if I wanted to be on the Rant Cafe this week. And I couldn't because I was working. I felt so bad. One, because it took me 2 hours to reply because I was running like an idiot in work, and two, it just would have been so cool to be on there. So, Nux, if you're watching, I'd love to at some point. Please don't think you can't ask me again. That would have been so cool. But we are on No One Understands Garou, and I am absolutely loving Garou and One Punch Man. Season 2, last episode out. I've not watched it yet because there are problems with watching it in the UK on Crunchyroll, and hopefully that'll be sorted out. Garou is an amazing villain. I find him so intriguing whenever he's on. The way he acts is just so bizarre. Like, to me, he doesn't come across as a villain, but he is being a villain because he is hurting heroes, if you know what I mean. He wants to be a monster. He looks up to monsters and stuff, and I'm just like, whoa. But apparently, the last episode has something, gives some insight into that, but we shall see. Let's do this. No One Understands Garou.
No spoilers.
Thank
As you
God.
may know, I do personalized top 10 videos every milestone I reach, and when I hit 400k, I made a video
Best
talking about my
villains.
top 10 villains. Now, mind you, this is before I read One Punch Man, and this is before Season 2 came out.
Okay.
So, Garou was not on that list.
Yeah.
I did, however, mention that I do have so much respect for One Punch Man, I'm almost certain Garou would eventually be on the list.
Right.
I did not think Garou would top the list and become my favorite villain in
He's
anime.
incredible.
And this is the video where I explain to you why. Believe
Okay.
it or not, my original
Wow.
script for this video
Wow.
was almost double the length, but I had to really cut it down to try to get you people to actually watch it, not get bored, and get all my points across. So, this video covers a rapid-fire array
Cool.
of ideas in regards to Garou, and ties all of them together
in a nice little bow.
beautiful little bow at
Cool.
the end. If I do say so myself. It's one of my
Alright.
best videos to date, I personally
Shred.
think, and I'd love to hear your takes, and I really hope you enjoy. Before even talking about why it frustrates me that people don't like Garou, the most important thing I have to say here is, Garou is indeed classified as a villain. People call him an anti-hero just like people were calling Stain an anti-hero. Just because he has his own twisted sense of morality. The dude's running around trying to kill heroes, goddamn.
Yeah.
He's not the most upstanding citizen
It
on
is
the face
murder.
of the planet. Anti-hero.
Well,
Fighting
although,
for the greater
has he
good,
murdered anyone
even
yet?
though he's doing heinous actions. You could call Light Yagami an anti-hero, or Lelouch from Code Geass an anti-hero,
Well-
way before you can call someone like Garou an anti-hero. Garou's a villain, but he is a villain with a very twisted psychology, which is what I will be talking about here.
Sweet.
I'm actually planning on making this a full video, but every single villain I encounter that I actually like falls under one of two basic categories.
Right.
They either have an ideology
Yep.
that I can get behind, for example...
You can kind of understand why they're thinking the way they're thinking, yeah.
Or they have a fascinating psychology that interests me.
The way they think is so good. It's so interesting.
From One Piece. I'm dumbing it down into these two categories because they span literally every anime villain I like, and I will talk about why
So
that
it fits
is
the
and why
mold.
it applies to everyone. Everyone except for Garou. Garou is not my favorite villain in anime because of these reasons,
Right.
and that just makes me even more interested in him. Now, there are people I've spoken to, like Anime Uproar, for example, who
Okay.
does not like Garou as a character. He thinks he's a relatively boring villain. Now, I'm not gonna blame him for this obviously terrible opinion, because hey, to each their own, but I think that if you're viewing Garou purely through the lens of, does he have an interesting psychology? No. Does he have an interesting ideology? No. I don't like this guy. Well, then you're going to dislike him, but that's just because your mind is closed, in my opinion, to a certain extent. The first point that I want to make in regards to Garou's character requires just a teeny-weeny little bit of setup. So, we have this guy Genos, right?
Yep.
Upstanding dude, never loses a fight ever. In fact, he never even gets a scratch on him during
No,
the entire
ever.
One Punch Man run. Yep, that's our boy. Now,
That sounds right.
He was introduced in episode 2 of One Punch Man to be the de facto main character of the series aside from Saitama. Every show needs growth. Without growth, you don't have a continuing storyline.
Without
that
legs,
can
you don't get
enjoy.
far,
Now,
unless you have
if you're
wings.
aiming for a slice-of-life comedy style, then I totally understand that. But in a story with a progressing plot and characters that are being introduced as well as being fleshed out and developing, you need the main character to be developing as well. Now, Saitama does develop. He develops a lot, in fact, and I will be making a big Saitama video.
Yep, that's next on my list.
So
I want to check that out, but I'm going to finish Season 2 first.
But we don't see his growth on a physical level. Most anime, especially shonen-esque,
it's like, I got this
action,
technique,
try to
I have
evolve
this
the
technique.
character's mind
Bam,
at the
bam, bam.
same time as their actual ability.
Mhm.
This way, you have an in-tandem growth of the two simultaneously,
Yes.
giving us a fully fleshed out picture of who the character was and who he became. Naruto started off this kid that was hated
And then
by
he
everyone,
ended
and he
up
was a
Hokage.
weak-ass
Respected.
bitch, and he eventually evolved into someone that the entire village revered and was also a total badass. As he grew in power,
Godlike.
he also grew in confidence,
Uh-huh.
and he grew in the hearts of everyone around him. Saitama grows on a mental level, but never grows on a physical one. He is
No, he's
at
always
the
there.
peak of the world as we know it, and therefore we don't have progression in who he is. So, a very beautiful solution to this seeming issue is Genos. Genos gets introduced in episode 2 as the de facto protagonist, not taking the mental spotlight from Saitama, because he does not evolve mentally. However,
But he-
he is the one that's evolving on the physical level.
Yep,
And the
constant
unit of the two
upgrades
of them
and stuff.
Together, not only
New
poses a
techniques.
fascinating and hilarious dynamic as one of the best ships in anime, god damn it.
Ah, ship 'em.
Also, you got your
Bing.
physical growth and your mental growth simultaneously, one in each character. I will talk more about this in my Genos video, which I have no idea when it's gonna happen, but the Saitama one is coming soon,
Sweet.
so stay tuned,
It's out.
fam.
It's out
Now
at
let's
the moment we'll
talk
talk about.
Garou, though,
Right
for
now.
a second.
Right here.
Garou
Right now.
fought Genos in the latest episode of One Punch Man, and let's just say, who was the character that you were perceiving as the protagonist in that fight? If it was Genos, you are a vast minority. The protagonist in the Garou versus Genos fight was Garou.
Yeah.
Genos is the character that was introduced in the beginning. Genos is the character with the backstory and the tragedy that's trying to overcome himself, and he finds a master, and he's training really hard, and he's getting stronger, and he's losing fights for the sake of growth, and he's a hero. And Garou is still the protagonist in that battle. People call Garou the hero of One Punch Man, and I very much disagree with that statement. As I've mentioned in the past, hero and protagonist are not synonymous.
No.
Protagonist is the character that we are viewing from their point
Point
of
of
view.
view, yeah.
And hero is the moral good guy in the story.
There is a
not
difference,
hero,
and I like
Garou
that.
is not an anti-hero. He is a villain, but he's also the protagonist, even though the majority of the story is not following.
I mean,
And for this,
could you
I
say the
do
same
have
for
several explanations.
Overlord?
Whenever Garou
Irons.
is on screen, we are seeing from his mind, and we're seeing through his eyes. Something generally given to the protagonist of a story, which is generally the hero. But even more fascinating than that, the two times Garou bumped into Saitama, and Saitama obliterated him entirely, because as we know, Saitama is a god among men,
He
as
is.
it were.
He
the
is.
character whose mind we were envisioning and seeing from that perspective was Garou both times. Garou's being transcended Saitama's, the main characters, for the two times they were on screen simultaneously. When Saitama's trying to buy a wig and Garou karate chops
he
him,
sweated
and
upwards.
Karate chop back, and then he sweats upwards. Super in-depth video on the philosophy of sweating upwards coming soon. Okay, probably not. Don't hold me to that. That would be very sad. But you realize in that encounter we were seeing from Garou's mind. He was thinking, oh, another hero is coming to defeat me. I'll just defeat him quickly in one shot. And that didn't really work out, but we were seeing from Garou's mind. Even when King and Saitama were having a heart-to-heart conversation after the tournament arc and they were walking down the road together, discussing some of the most important themes of the show that, again, I will touch on in my One Punch Man video. Once Garou sees them after being defeated by Watchdog Man, immediately the story takes place from his perspective.
Goes for
He's
King, doesn't
viewing
he?
them. He says this is his chance to hunt King. He's
Yeah.
viewing which
Well, Saitama
angle
just-
King could come from. He attacks.
And he doesn't even realise he's been
Saitama
taken out by
knocks him
Saitama.
aside. We're seeing that very brief battle, if you can call it a battle,
Yeah.
from Garou's perspective, not the alleged main characters. Garou became the main character of One Punch Man for these moments, and for every moment he's
It works
on
so
screen,
well as
to the
well, it's
point that when
class.
he's fighting Genos, you're viewing Garou as the protagonist and Genos as the obstacle, as opposed to vice versa, which would be how one would think it should go. Having a villain as a protagonist
Evidently,
is
it doesn't
the
have
most
to.
novel idea on the planet. Having him introduced halfway through the story and somehow taking over the hearts of everyone with no super deep ideology and tragic backstory that causes him to want to get the Infinity Stones or whatever is a little more novel. But it's who Garou is and how he gets the audience to relate to him on a subconscious subconscious level
class.
that makes him truly fascinating. Garrou's growth, both mentally and physically, is unparalleled than any other character in the series. All the cliche traits of main characters gets put into Garou, and it feels so novel coming from a villain's side. How a main character will never stop pushing himself, and will, even in his tired, dilapidated state, turn the tables on his opponents and take a victory. That's literally Garou's story over the last few episodes of One Punch Man. He's beaten up by Watchdog Man, he's beaten up by Saitama, he's hiding in a shack. People hate him and fear him and stuff. He gets attacked by heroes, he fights them off, even though he's wounded. He's poisoned by arrows, he's shot in the leg.
Against
and then
all
Genos comes,
odds.
and he keeps fighting. And it's an epic fight, and he's snapping trees and whatever, and we're cheering our hearts out for the guy.
a bad
and then
guy.
Bang shows up, and it's one after another encounter for him, which is a typical trait for a protagonist as a hero, but a very atypical event for a villain. Through all of this, Garou is continuously evolving on a mental and physical level, and he's becoming more and more of what he
he
wants
doesn't
to
doesn't
call a
join the
monster,
monsters.
even though he doesn't even realize how wrong his terminology is. As I've mentioned in my video talking about the power system in One Punch Man, if you look at almost any character, the reason why they developed the certain powers they did, or the reason why they ended up becoming a monster, is because they had an obsession of sorts.
Yes.
For example, Crab Guy in episode 1.
Loves crabs.
He basically spells it out. I liked crab a lot.
So
became
then,
obsessed
crab
with
monster.
eating crabs, so I became a crab monster. And
Season
scary
2,
as
the
it
lizard
sounds,
dude.
I made a whole philosophical analysis on the crab dude in my
With the
power
tongue
system video.
dude.
Good old days, fam. Good old days. But the point is, that's how it works for almost everyone in the series. Every monster that tells you how they ended up becoming a monster is because they were consumed by their obsession. Garou's obsession is to become a monster, yet he's the only one that hasn't become a full monster because of it. And that's exactly because the root of his obsession to become a monster isn't purely because that is his end-all tainted will, it's because of who he was in his upbringing. Now, a lot of people poke fun at Garou for this tragic backstory of his, but I can't get over how much I love it. You had a dude, as a kid, who when he was watching videos and he was reading manga, he was rooting for the monsters.
The monster.
And,
Why
of course,
don't they
the
win?
heroes always win
Why do they
because,
always
heroes
lose?
usually win. And
It's not
so
fair.
he was always upset about it. And so, when he would mention to his friends, it's so sad. Ocean
They'd
monster
laugh.
dude just wanted to protect the ocean. He just wanted the ocean to be clean and whatever. And the heroes killed him. He must have been so sad. He put up a good fight. And obviously, his friends did not take that too well. They all made fun of him for being the weirdo rooting for monsters, which I relate to because I usually root for the bad guys. But hey, not the point. And so, he decided to become a monster that wins. He'll be a monster that transcends the fate of monsters and actually be victorious. So, interestingly enough, I don't think it's per se that he related to the ideology of every individual monster that was defeated in every manga and anime he's ever seen. I don't think anyone is quaint enough to actually believe that, but you have to realize that what he was actually fighting for was not for the monster to win. Granted, he wanted to see that as time went on and they kept on losing, but he was fighting for the energies of every monster that he was witnessing. Sea Monster Guy wanted the ocean to be safe, and he wanted it to be clean, so he was fighting the humans on the mainland that were polluting it or whatever. And granted, going on a massive genocidal rage because you're polluting
It's not
water is
right,
not exactly the
but-
most upstanding thing to do, so the heroes had to step in and take him down. But at the same time, taking someone like him down with zero remorse is spitting on his ideology.
Yeah, like you're
And
taking away the
his
fact that he
ideology
wanted to
did
defend that
bear
in the first
meaning.
place.
At the end of the day, this guy was living in the sea, and he had a family or whatever that was living in the sea, and it was being polluted by human
So
skills.
he rose up
He
to
had
try
a
and
right to
stop
be
it.
upset, he had a right to be annoyed, and he wanted
it's just
to
the way
take
he went
things
about
into
it.
his own hands. But the story completely discarded whatever he wanted, discarded the suffering he had, because he's
He's
the
a monster.
and the heroes have to win. It's time and time again that all these monsters that genuinely have a reason for doing what they're doing, even if that reason does not hold up to their actions, to Garou at this point it's irrelevant. The way these reasonings are being discarded, giving the monsters zero credence as to what they're saying can actually hold water, that completely devalues their being. In Garou's flashback, when Sea Monster Dude actually lost to the heroes, he said, well, he put up a good fight. Imagine how sad he was that he lost. He was
Yeah.
actually fighting for something.
For-
and
it
could
wasn't
not
like fighting for
succeed in
nothing.
What he was fighting for. And in turn,
He believed in something and
the pollution
lost.
of his sea will continue, and his family will continue to suffer in these polluted waters. So even though there was a strand of genuine value in the philosophy of all these villains, they would still all
always lose.
because their fate as a villain is to lose to a hero. Garou wanted to change that fate, and he wanted to become a villain that can actually defeat a hero.
Yeah.
It's for this reason that Garou wanted to become the strongest monster. He wanted to be infamous among the heroes because he wanted it to be known that it's possible that a monster's ideology will overpower a hero's. Now, I don't think he's coming from this entire thought-out process where he's trying to fight for the greater good. As I've mentioned, he's not trying to fight for the greater good. He is a villain, not an anti-hero. But after being rained down on him his entire life of this devaluing of a monster's ideology, it started to actually hurt him, and he became someone else because of it. Garou is a kind person intuitively. He protected that kid with the butt chin, and he didn't have to for himself.
No way. He didn't have to tell them. I mean, yeah, the way he did that, Kamen Rider was like, oh my god.
Like he would have, he stood in front of the shack and blocked all
yeah,
of
he blocked everything. It was so good to see everything around.
Because of his selflessness to this extent,
So even though he told the heroes the kid was there, they still shot.
How to stop machine gun bullets, and he became stronger. This is the exact method protagonists, as in heroes, in most other stories use to get stronger. When they're in a pinch, their super ultra mega special power of friendship adrenaline boost is gonna push them to the next level, and that's what happened to Garou, a villain, because of his selflessness in that scenario. Garou has morals, and Garou intuitively is a good dude. He's just twisted his mind to the point that he wants to change the fate of what a monster is. He doesn't even want to join the Monsters Association.
No, he doesn't. Every time they ask, he's like, nah.
The massive finale of the world. And you know I'm serious because I said the world,
and not Zawaldo.
So now that I've established, at least to an extent, what he's fighting for, even if it's on a subconscious level, you have to realize the impact it has on the entire story. Now, what is our perspective of Garou? We are viewing Garou as a monster that is actually defeating heroes. Isn't that interesting? His fate is changing.
My
but
God.
that's not all. I think that is how most people see it, because that is his character's purpose in the show. But no, it's far more than that. Garou is a character that rooted for villains, and we are rooting for Garou.
Garou,
For Garou, even at the cost of protagonists like Jess. The power of his mindset and passion is so intoxicating that it has infected literally all of us watching the show.
Yeah.
It's not only that we perceive him as a protagonist, it's not only that he's twisting the fate of what the role of a monster is, but we're rooting for him to twist that
want him
fate.
to win.
We are rooting for a monster. We are like Garou. And this gets
We
to
are
one of the most
fighting,
major
dreamers.
points that I have to make, and this is really why he's one of my favorite villains in anime, even though I have quite a bit more to talk about. Garou is one of the most relatable characters in anime, and I know you're gonna just comment down there, literally nobody, Noxaku, I relate to Garou because he's an absolute psychopath. Calm your titties, fam. That is not what I'm saying. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Talking about what makes protagonists relatable, there are all too many details. And every single protagonist, at least the well-written ones, will get us to relate to them in a different way. We relate to Luffy and his sense of dreams. He wants to become something, and that is really what his entire story is about. It's about chasing dreams. Naruto is about chasing a recognition from those that disregarded him. For Deku, it was someone changing fate.
I will become a hero.
No quirk will eventually become the greatest hero. And for Asta, it's someone who is born with no nobility that will eventually be treated as the wizard.
I need to catch back up on Black Clover, man. Oh my god. Girlfriend wants to watch it. I was like 70 episodes in, I'm not starting again.
Well, and more. Garou's a character with dreams that we can relate to. Not per se that we all want to become the greatest monster, so therefore, oh my god, I also want to become the latest monster just like Garou. I relate to this man. Not exactly. The ideology that he has of becoming something despite the odds against him, entering a territory that was never reached.
He's cool to watch fight as well, though.
That was never walked, is something that all of us have a desire for. Every single one of us has a dream, potentially a slightly less gory dream than Garou's, but it is a dream nonetheless, and Garou, despite the odds, is accomplishing it. Garou is also fighting against fate. The fate of Deku to not become a hero because, well, he didn't have a quirk. That is the fate of Garou wanting to become a monster. The fate of monsters is to lose. You have someone like Naruto who, just because of who he is, people don't want to regard him as anything, and people don't treat him as anything. And Garou is also, in his own way, growing in recognition. And someone like Asta is a character that is trying to thwart nobility. He is someone who is not noble by birth and still wants to become one of the highest classes of nobility.
Yeah, he will be the Wizard King.
And even though no one else believes him, he believes in himself. And that is exactly who Garou is as well. He's a character that he wants to be recognized. He wants to be the monster that actually wins, but it's not like the heroes recognize him as, oh, what a wonderful dude, aiming for his dreams, so inspired.
Fly high, boy, fly high.
He is someone that's proving himself to himself, and that is Asta's journey in the beginning of Black Clover.
It
Every
is,
protagonist's relatability
He
is
has a lot of
encapsulated into who Garou is
protagonist
and how Garou
little
runs his
quirky
life,
things going on.
Except Garou is also a villain. Garou is the most relatable villain. How often do you cheer for a villain to get up after being knocked down?
Not
Most
very
villains
often.
are overpowering the protagonist. Oh my god, look at Aizen and Madara and all these guys.
Yep,
They're
my
way
god,
stronger
they're too
than
strong.
Naruto and Ichigo. It'll be up to Naruto and Ichigo to get up after falling down 4 bazillion times to stand a chance against them, but that's the reverse when we're talking about Garou.
Yeah.
We know that Garou's not going to beat Saitama as is, not even close, and Garou doesn't even stand a chance against the top S-rank heroes as of now. But still, with every time Garou gets up, he becomes even
That was so
stronger.
cool, he poked a
and maybe
hole in.
eventually he will be able to reach that goal. And the more we're watching Garou struggle, the more we're watching Garou try, and the more we're watching Garou evolve, the more we are becoming like Garou in our mindsets. Not per se that we want to go murder a lot of people. No, not exactly
No.
the hobby of most people that watch One Punch Man, I hope. But we're becoming more like Garou in the way that we're inspired by how he's working, we're inspired by a monster, and we're rooting for a monster, which is the root of who Garou is. So now that that's settled, and we're at a point where we can actually relate to the dude, and we love this guy. He's the favorite character
Hot.
of many in One Punch Man,
Is
and
it,
honestly, I don't blame them at all. Here's
how
how
do I-
Garou
yeah.
takes all of that and kicks it to the next level. And that would be Garou's actual humanity. Garou is the most human character in all of One Punch Man. Despite the fact that he is trying so hard to become
much
a monster,
emotion.
he is chasing his dreams, which
He's
is the
happy at
antithesis
times, he's
of what
smiley,
a
he's talking to
monster
that
is.
kid.
A monster is giving into tainted obsession. At least that is One Punch Man's term for it. And I think it's a metaphor for a lot of people in this world that give into obsession. They are becoming monsters in their own right, not chasing a viable dream that can actually have
Okay.
a value to them. Garou's obsession to become a monster is a complete antithesis to what it is to be a monster. So this dichotomy in itself is fascinating. On a world-building level, it's preventing Garou from becoming a monster, even though he's evolving at a rapid rate, but also it just reaffirms how steadfast he is in upholding his humanity. I said I wouldn't talk manga spoilers, and I won't, but all I could say is, more and more you get moments that make you feel for Garou the same way you felt for him standing in front of the shack, blocking a Gatling gun to protect this kid. More and more, Garou is closing in on reaching a state of monster, this ultimate state of being that he's been aiming for his entire life. The more he is holding on to his humanity, holding on to his interesting morality, and the more he's fighting for his own set of ideals. Not an ideology I can per se get behind, but it is an ideology nonetheless. I don't respect his ideology on an individual level like I would respect Pain's or Stain's, but I do respect a man who fights for his ideology.
He
and
truly
to such a
believes in
steadfast
it.
extent that he will go out of his way and lose countless opportunities for this ideology, as we see in the manga. And it's because of this dichotomy of running at full breakneck speeds to both becoming a monster and a human, it's what makes him evolve into some form of mutated state we haven't seen anyone do before in One Punch Man. Because of him upholding his ideals, he is evolving at this alarming rate. Because he's someone who stands up to what he believes in, despite what people tell him, he is becoming so much more powerful. And because of all of this, the villain Garou has become the protagonist of One Punch Man whenever he's on screen, and he's someone that the entire fan base roots for in every single battle. Garou, funny as this sounds, has become the most quintessential, ideal, inspiring character in the entire series. You have a series full of heroes. Someone like Saitama who could beat anyone in one punch, and yet he has a dilapidated mental state. You have someone like King, the alleged strongest man alive, but his life is a lie, and he hates himself because of it. Now, I can actually do this for every single hero in One Punch Man, and this is partially what makes the cast so great, but every single hero has major flaws. Take someone like Zombie Man, for example. This guy is obsessed with this House of Evolution. He doesn't even care as much about the ongoings of the world past his own obsession. Monster Association pops up and he's like, hey, this must be the work of the House of Evolution, since they're what made me a zombified freak. And I mentioned Zombie Man because he gets one of the least screen time of any of the heroes in One Punch Man. But every hero that gets introduced, except for Moomin Rider, who will be getting a video, has massive flaws in their ideology. On a personal level, they are all very flawed human beings. Tatsumaki is arrogant.
She
Bang
is.
jaded. Genos can't think for himself.
Nope.
Fubuki is purely in it for the fame.
Yep.
The 8-class heroes that all attacked Garou
Want to be
an even
recognized.
starker contrast that I'm trying to point out by the pure fact that they attacked him without calling an S-class hero goes to show that their morals behind doing what they're doing is not exactly ideal for what a hero is supposed to be. By the fact that they did not call an
found
S-class
him. They should have
hero,
done it straight away.
It goes to show that their priority is not taking down this psycho killer dude. Their priority is that they are the ones that took down the psycho killer
it's
dude.
recognition.
No one is perfect. But the only character that does not exhibit any of these self-contradicting character flaws is the villain Garou. Garou is the ideal character, except he's a villain. So we root for him, so we are adopting Garou's ideology, so we relate to him. So we view him as an antagonist, and so he became my favorite anime villain of all time. Garou is a genuine person. He is someone that actually thinks straight. People like Death Gatling and the heroes that attacked him are by definition the opposite of that. They're characters that cannot be honest with themselves, and therefore they can never grow to new heights. Garou is constantly evolving, constantly pushing himself past his limits, constantly chasing his dreams, and never once lying to himself about who he is. And it's that that makes him flourish and grow. And it's that we are all inspired by. So that's how we should all strive to grow as well. I'm not saying become like Garou, because that's basically giving you all knives and saying, hey fam,
go kill heroes.
That it's okay to be open-minded enough to view things from different perspectives. Maybe you disagree with someone's political leaning, or with their take on religion, or whatever other contentious topic that may divide you and them. Have respect for their ideology. Don't just denounce it because you view it as wrong, just like the heroes denounced the monsters' ideologies and treated them like they were garbage, even though in actuality they were in the wrong. Be honest with who you are. You want something out of life and you want to accomplish a lot. You want to turn yourself into something great and something that you can be proud of. So do that. Don't lie to yourself about what it is. Go for the goal. Don't cave into obsession, and don't stop pushing yourself. Don't push yourself too hard, because then you go snappy, and that sucks balls. But if you don't push yourself at all, you can never reach your limit, and therefore you can never extend it even further. Don't be afraid to look at things from the other perspective, and don't fall into a mode where you can perceive yourself as being the one that's always doing the right thing. Chances are, we're all wrong about a hell of a lot of what we do.
Probably.
Whether you're left-leaning or you're right-leaning, chances are you're right about a lot, but you're also wrong about a lot. And you have to agree that it's possible that you're wrong about a lot. By the fact that every hero in One Punch Man is in such a self-enclosed bubble, they don't realize their flaws. The only one that realizes the full extent of their flaws and who they are is someone like Garou, the opposite of what a hero is, but at the same time, the ideal of what a hero could be. As King said to Saitama, I get that you're the strongest hero, but maybe it's time that you started working on becoming the best hero.
The best,
something that Saitama didn't even understand.
It's like what a hero really is.
If he would have understood it, and he would have incorporated it into his life, it would have made him an infinitely happier person. It would give him a sense of progress once again, and that's exactly what he lost. That is something that Garou has in spades. Garou doesn't want to become the strongest monster. Garou wants to become the best monster. His definition of monster is different than the world's definition of monster, because his definition of monster is a defier of fate, whereas the world's is someone that caves into obsession. Be the former, fam, not the latter. And don't look at your goals in such a linear light. Don't try to become the richest you could be, the most famous you could be. Be the
best that you can be.
The first step to that is to not lie to yourself about who you are, and the second step to that is to never forget what you want to become. That is the legacy of Garou, my favorite villain in anime.
Damn, good video. Damn, we really get... Wow, that went quick. Oh, that was class. I love Garou, I really do. I love that video now because that was absolutely class. It was a really good discussion on his character. It was brilliant, and I want to check out next. I'm going to. No One Understands Saitama. I think that's going to be good. It's 45 minutes long, though, so I don't know when I'm going to fit it in. Although, my housemate is away for a week now. So that means I can stay up later and record videos. So that, God knows, the possibilities are endless. But yeah, that was class. And again, Nux, I hope you don't mind me saying no to not being on the Rant Cafe. I just really couldn't make it. I was just like, and now that you've said that, I'm talking to my girlfriend. I'm going to get a decent webcam set up and stuff just in case. So, I won't be offended if you don't ask me again, it's fine. But I really appreciate the fact that you did ask me. That was so nice of you. That was cool. I wouldn't shut up about it in work. Anyway, cool video. Love Garou. Can't wait to see how Season 2 ends. When I can eventually watch the episode. Might invest in reading manga because a lot of people are telling me online that it looks better. I think Gilguk's video about Season 2 was talking about how the manga visually was what made Season 1 special, because they copied exactly how the look of the manga volumes were in this. Because even online on Wikipedia it was saying that like the Season 2's been praised highly. The one thing is that it's the animation, but I still don't mind it. As long as I'm getting a good story, I don't really care. It's fine. So, thank you guys very much for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should want to discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys. Here's all you guys. Next time. Bye.